Yo, what's up, guys? It's Captain Daniel Kim. And today I'm going to give you the top three best dating advice for 2024. And everything I give you when it comes to advice, especially dating, it's something that I'm personally experienced or I've experienced with my clients. So even the first one, the first dating advice, all right, let's just start with number one, okay? Number one, don't chase. So where this comes from is so obviously, I'm single and I'm still dating, right? And I remember I met this one girl, and when we first exchanged contact information and we're messaging each other, she was very, how do I call it, high BT, which means high body temperature, right? She was very interested in me. She was messaging pretty quickly, and we went on a first date. So in somewhere on the first date, we were clicking, and then after the first date, something happened where I could tell by my own compliance test, right? So, the issue when we come to dating is when you're focused on your story, right? You and the girl, it's you're the main character and she's the supporting character. It's that dating movie or whatever you want to call it, drama. You become too emotionally invested, so you actually can't think logically. But I knew that logically, if a client comes to me with a similar situation, I could tell that the girl's buying temperature or her feelings has decreased since our first date. So I obviously could break down what happened on the first date. I could have moved too fast, or I don't know, something happened where she's just not as interested in me as before. I could figure it out, and I know one of my clients asked me, he actually lost a girl too, and said, should I do an exit interview to figure out what went wrong? But usually, even with that, right, asking a question went wrong or asking for feedback, most women won't give you honest feedback. Why? Because everything they will tell you is through emotional, right? And just because she doesn't like this about you, obviously, if it keeps happening consistently, that's where you probably need to take a step back and maybe hire a coach, or you logically figure out what's going on, right? But with this girl, so I tried to set up a date today, and she said, oh, to be honest, I'm not free all this week. Not only did she say she's not free tonight, she said she's not free all this week. So, okay, so I could be positive, glass half full, and be like, oh, I mean, she's just not free. But here's the thing. If a girl really likes you, and this is one thing I love about women, if a girl really likes you, she will make time for you. I've seen girls drive an hour, right? I've seen girls like really make an effort to come see me no matter what's going on in their life, right? And that's if they like you or they had this belief that they can like you. So this girl, obviously, when she first met me on the first date, she had this belief that she wanted to make an effort. Now, whatever happened on the first date, maybe I messed up, and most likely I did something to make her less attracted to me. Now she doesn't have that same interest. So back in the day, I would actually, a lot of students, and even me when I was going through this dating journey, I would chase, right? So after like 2 or 3 days, or even after a week, but this girl said a whole week, so I wouldn't even make an effort after a week. But back in the day before Instagram and online dating apps, where your choices of women were predicated on you going out and meeting women, you would have less choices, right? So I would actually message her a week later. But now in this 24th century, I guess you could say, on the year 2024, you don't have to chase women as much. I'm not saying that as like don't go for women, but I'm saying I would say give it three strikes. But now for me, like it's like because the world through social media and online dating, you kind of have access to women all around the world. And what that actually leads to is a choice of abundance. Yes, maybe right now you're not attracting all those women, but one thing I realized, I live in Thailand where honestly, like the guys who live here, we are way too blessed. I wouldn't say girls are here easy. I'm not gonna be disrespectful like that. But I do think dating is very open-minded here, and Thai women are very open-minded to dating. And they're very open-minded to dating foreigners, even if you don't speak Thai. So it's a very open-minded country when it comes to man to woman romantic connections. So back to the first advice is don't chase. Why? Because if this girl kind of gives you a hint that she's not interested, it's not about moving on, right? Because we're still following each other on Instagram, but they always come back. And even if they don't come back, so, but there's a caveat to it. There's an asterisk to that. They always come back if you become a better man. So, guys who are working with me, and even when I'm talking about myself, I always, not try, fuck trying, I always improve every single year. So, if you are becoming a better man, a more attractive man every single year, and you're taking steps to become a better version of you, women always tend to go back to the men they are attracted to, right? So at this point, I have to realize that some vibe was off. Maybe my vibe's off this lately. Maybe there's some personal stuff going in my life where my attractive level is I'm not confident of something's going on in my life, right? So right now she's not attracted to me. But one thing I realize about women, especially with this day and age, if you're still connected in some kind of way where she sees the highlights of your life, what's going on, especially with social media, you could actually see. That's why a lot of people give advice: cut out your ex. Once you break up with your ex, delete our social media, block her, because you could actually see what your ex is doing. Back in the day, I would never figure out what my ex is doing unless I ask her friends what's going on in her life. And that's a very beta move. So never chase a girl. And this actually goes back to my own advice. It's kind of telling myself this because there was a girl that I really, really liked this past year, 2023, where I was very considering to being serious with her, right? It's been a while since I've been serious with a girl. It's been about 7 years, I think. And it just didn't work out. But there's a part of me thinking, like, what if I make a fight? What if I fight for her again? What if I try again? Honestly, guys, like, I feel like in 2024 and now from now on with all the social media, there's no reason to fight for the girl. And I don't really think there's such thing as soulmates now, because here's the thing. I do believe that you could have multiple soulmates. I think that you could have multiple human connections. Do I believe in twin flame, which you literally, twin flame is like you were one flame together and you split and now you're like pretty much you guys are like the perfect beings for each other? Yes, I do believe in that, but I think because of the distractions in the world, you can't just chase your whole life looking for that one girl. And I think it's kind of like I'm reading this book called Way of Superior Man, where he says, like, don't chase that one thing that will make you make you happy. As a man, you have to continuously progress and continually chase your purpose. The one thing you should chase is your purpose in life as a man. So when it comes to women, I don't think there is that one girl who makes you happy, especially with this whole new era of dating. Because when I was first starting dating, like I'm in my 30s, right? When I was in my 20s, we had to actually go out and meet women, right? But now, if you're a very high value man who looks high value on online dating, or you're on these high profile dating apps like Raya, we're very exclusive, or on Instagram, you're an influencer, or you look very attractive on Instagram, like it's very easy now. You can just DM and set up a date pretty much, or you can DM another girl in another country and set up a date with her. Either you could fly her over or you fly to her. It's just crazy how the options are endless. So it's like now it's like you really don't have to chase. Like there's not that one girl. Like so even me, I have a little ego with this one girl, right? Oh my God, who are you to reject me? Like I got a little cocky. I was like, yo, who are you to reject me, right? But I'm starting to realize like you don't need to chase a girl anymore. Like there's so many women, and I guess this whole option of chasing, or this one-itis that back in the day that a lot of guys struggle with, right? You fall in love with this one girl, and yo, this sounds very, very like honest, but most guys, I'll be honest with myself, once you're like physically intimate with her, and you kind of burst that sexual tension, you start seeing more clear now. Because guys, let's be real, in this modern age, sex is like normal, right? Like you have sex, like it's really hard to find a pure virgin. Like sex is so normalized now, like you see it on TV, you see it constantly, you see penises on TV, everything. Like so like everyone's gonna have sex. So as long as the other girl is the person in front of you is open to it, I think having sex is the fastest way to know if you're actually compatible. So chemistry is a sexual chemistry part, right? Is there that tension? That's why girls always say, oh yeah, I just had this feeling. That's chemistry. It's just something what girls do. For me, I'm more logical about it. That's like, you could build chemistry too with game, but also it's about physical first impression. But with game, you can actually build physical sexual chemistry by turning her on and stuff like that. But once that's bursted and like you guys actually burst that bubble, you actually get to know if you really like that girl or not. And that's how that one girl that I really liked, I knew I really liked her because even after all the physical chemistry, I just felt really good with her. So with this girl who kind of rejected me now, because dude, she said she's busy for a week. I got it. It's common sense, right? No one says you're busy for a whole week, okay? You just say you're busy this night and then we'll figure out next time. But you're busy for a whole week. That's pretty much like saying I don't want to see you. But my ego got hurt, right? And there was a part of me is like, should I make an effort again? No, like don't make an effort with people who don't want to see you. And it's not saying like, but you can't like ignore them and say, just, oh, I'm being cool. No, you can't do it out of ego too. You kind of have to let your ego go and let it be. And if you let it be, somehow the universe works where either she comes back or someone better than her or fits your life better comes back. Because in the end, I think as social animals, so I'm obviously putting a lot of emphasis on this first advice, don't chase. And I'll go to the second advice. But like seriously, like don't chase. Be like truly believe in the power of abundance. Now you are really abundant. Like even if you're a guy who's not getting girls right now, you're actually abundant because you could actually get on a dating app and just get better pictures and like I said, Thailand is one of the easiest countries to meet women. Come to Thailand and meet women. Like you literally go to a different country now, do passport mode on these dating apps and meet other girls. Okay, let me get to dating advice number two. So dating advice number two. Okay. So number two is get better, not bitter. So now, the YouTube and like this whole generation, I feel like you have access. Like there's no excuse for you not to get what you want. And I guess I'm to the point where men who are not getting girls right now, if you like, because there's a study that you're not getting girls, like that means you're just not trying, bro. Like at this point, you're not even making effort. If you're not getting girls in this modern era, you're really, really not trying. Like I'm not talking about, yeah, you might not be getting the hottest girls, but to get girls, like, because I've seen enough clients where like, I thought back in my era, like when I started dating, like it would have been really hard for them. Like it would have taken 1 year to 2 to maybe 3 years to even start dating actually attractive women. But now I can get students dating within 4 weeks to 6 weeks, especially with the dating apps, right? So if you're really like not getting women, just you got to get better. You can't get bitter in this modern age. If you're bitter and you're just like complaining and you just stop taking action, life just passes around by and other men will take the girls. It's kind of a very conquering mentality nowadays because the world moves so fast, right? Like I see it, I see the world changing, I see countries changing, and it's just like the dating world is changing. And if you're not going to keep up with the dating world, it's just gonna move right past you. And women don't give a fuck if you're unattractive or like they're not gonna care. You just have to keep moving forward. That's it. You just have to get better and not bitter. You have to become more of an attractive guy. That's just how the world is. The world is gonna get past you. The guys who actually go for the girls, that actually hunt, that actually become better, that become alpha, that become attractive, they're gonna get all the girls, and you're gonna get left behind. And honestly, the world's not fair. It's not gonna just wait for you to be like, yeah, but you're such a good person, so the world's gonna wait and give you. No, like, hey, I believe in God, man, but here's the thing, even God rewards hard work, right? In the Bible, you got to put in the work. You can't just sit there and do law of attraction and attract the girl. Like, to this day, I have not seen that happen. Like, I haven't seen people literally visualize and affirm, do affirmations and all this stuff and get a girl just placed on their lap. You actually have to go there and go out there, meet women, put yourself out there, become more attractive and all that stuff. Okay, now, what's the last advice I would give you for dating in 2024 and beyond? Man, this is going to be actually controversial, especially in the dating industry. And I'm going to give this to also an advice for myself. At some point, you have to stop making dating about women. What do I mean by that? Okay. So so in terms of dating women, in my industry we call it game, right? If you have game, you get girls, right? As a guy, you have game, you get girls. So game was always about, people always thought having game is attracting women in your life, and that shows you that you have game. But what I realized with game is, because there's another human being on the other side, you can't really game another person, right? Because they're kind of in their own virtual reality world. The only thing that you can actually game, or playing the game, right? If you think about just playing a video game, you're playing the video game called your life, right? So you're actually learning how to game yourself to attract women to be part of the video game of your life. So there's some women who are not gonna want to be part of that life, okay? And there's gonna be some women who's gonna want to be part of it. In the beginning, you might have to game to try to fit into their video game. You do, like, let's say a girl likes this kind of guy, so you start becoming that guy. So we call it fake it till you make it. But eventually, 2024 and beyond, as a man, you gotta learn how to game yourself. What do I mean by that? So, like, even right now, I told you a girl technically said she doesn't want to see me ever again, in a weird way, right? I'm not saying in the future she won't, but right now she doesn't want to see me. So I could try to game her to like me, or I could game myself to let go and just move on, right? Because I know, like, it's an ego thing. I know in game, I'm like, okay, do I really like her? No. I mean, to be honest, we had one date. I don't really like her. Logically, it makes no sense. I know nothing about her life. I just know she's attractive physically. But there could be no compatibility. One thing, she smokes like a chain. Like, she literally smokes every hour. I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't like people who smoke. It's just, you literally have to stop and smoke. Like, I'm in a rush, they got smoke. I can't deal with that shit. So technically, I know there is no way I'm gonna like her as much as a non-smoker, right? But because of my ego, I want that validation. But if you learn how to game yourself, you actually don't need validation from her, and you can actually get validation from you. What do I mean by that too? I put myself out there. So this girl I actually got from just going to the gym, and I saw her. It's been a while since I did a cold approach, and I actually approached her at the gym, right? That is a win for me because I haven't done a cold approach, right? Because I've been doing a lot more online dating or Instagram dating. So for me, that's a huge win because I went and approached her even though, I could have got rejected, right? And I put myself out there. I remember even when on the first date, I wasn't even like trying, to be honest. I didn't like plan out this amazing date. I just want to see where this goes. So what I'm trying to say is the last advice is learn how to game yourself and don't make it about women. And let's resimplify. Don't make dating about women. And I know it sounds cheesy. I know this might be about woo woo, but make it about dating yourself. Because once you learn how to date yourself, you can literally gamify your dating life, right? You can learn how to, like, I don't want you to take it as like take no action or blah, blah. I think in the beginning, like maybe you have to learn how to become the women that you want to find attractive. So you might have to change some things. Like, no matter what, if you watch anime, you watch video games, or you play video games and you don't do anything with your life, you're fat and you're unattractive, you don't know anything about fashion, bro, you gotta change a little bit, right? But I'm saying you get to a point where you're like getting a decent amount of girls and you're attractive in some way and you have a decent dating life. If you want to take your game or attractiveness to the next level, you actually gotta learn how to date yourself. So I think that's the next level I want guys to know is because now I think dating is actually easier than ever. I know. If you're watching this and you feel like, no, that's not true. No, it is. Trust me. I've been there when dating was really, 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 really hard. Okay? Dating has now officially become easier than ever because you have access to all the women in the world. Before, if you're in your own little city, you got to focus on your own little city, right? And there's a lot of competition. But now you could go to a country or go to a place where there's less competition and you can get girls that way. So dating is actually easier. That's the crazy thing. But now I think dating yourself is harder because there's so many distractions, right? So I hope this video helps. It's really helped me because it helped me understand, okay, how has game changed? How has dating changed in the modern era? Because back in the day, I think girls actually like guys who chased, and I think it was okay. Of course, because I've heard stories where girls like, this guy really made an effort. This guy really kept on trying. He just kept on. There's always those love stories where this guy tried, right? Yeah, but back in the day, like a lot of guys didn't try. A lot of guys didn't like go for girls. There was like this kind of beta behavior. But now it's so much easier to shoot DMs. Celebrities are shooting DMs. Celebrities have access, and all these guys are now shooting DMs. So now here's the thing: like if you chase a girl, right? Like yeah, before you might have had a chance because she might not have that many high quality men messaging her. But let's say she's a pretty decently high quality man or woman. I mean, there's gonna be guys from like everywhere, from other countries, from other cities, just messaging her. So even if you chase, you're gonna get lost in translation, bro. And I don't know, that's just I think how the world has become. Where now like women also have access to a lot of men. So like there's no point in chasing, bro. Because like, do you really honestly like? It's come to a point too. Do you really want to date a woman who doesn't really like you, and you have to change her mind to like you? I think it's just a bad start too, right? Like I'm not saying you have to always hang out with people who just like you, but like when it comes to dating, because now there's more abundance before, just make life easier, right? Why mess it up by going for people who just don't like you? So that's something I have to realize myself. At sometimes it is there's some women who are worth the effort. I do think there's some women like that, and that's something I have to find the balance too. Because this girl I really like, do I go back to the past? The answer is no. I think right now she's the one who kind of like moved on from me, and I think if someone who's moved on from you, you got to move on from them. I think there's no point in chasing people. And relationships so hard because, it's funny because think about how your parents treat you. If you have a good relationship with your parents or family, right? Friends who truly love you and you love them back. It's not that hard. It's hard, of course, to maintain that relationship, but in the end, what's the foundation of it? Love, you care about you don't judge each other, right? But we always fuck up in relationships because this foundation is not set. It's still fragile as much as, but it's weird, right? Because it's so new and it's like there's so many highs and lows, right? But if you actually think about real loving relationships with your family and friends, there's no really highs and lows. It's more consistency. So that's why some people don't appreciate it. But I realize as I get older, I love I appreciate my parents' love even more than ever is because it's so consistent. When it comes to dating now, it's just like blah, 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 blah. It's very inconsistent. So I don't know. I hope that helps, guys. That's just been my thought process recently. And I'm giving you guys all my personal experience and my clients' experiences, and I hope this really helps because, they say a smart man just learns from his own life experiences. A wise man actually learns from others and doesn't make the same mistake twice as them. Okay, so I hope that really helps. It's been a pleasure. Captain Daniel out.